Hey, we're here today with the lovely Robert Foertsch and my friend Gary.
Hey, good to see y'all.
Good to see you, Robert. Good to see you, man.
Greetings.
Greetings.
Yeah, Gary is Cosmic
No, I'm not. I'm Galactic Girl.
Galactic Girl, that's it. On my channel, he comes on my hangout. But we're having a hangout with Robert today.
Hey, thank you for having me. I appreciate you giving me this platform to be able to reach as many people as possible with the truth.
Robert, about 300 or 400 people watched the last hangout we had together.
Nice.
That's
a
good number for
I
me.
appreciate that.
Yeah, but you see, we all know that you're lovely Robert, so you know.
Thanks. Well, you know, I keep on updating my research library. Right now, there's towards the top of the list is a lot of updates about artificial intelligence, machine learning, computer systems that are basically programming humanity with a lot of distraction and deception. And
Yes,
so I believe now Google Hangouts is a part of, well, it's
part of them, unfortunately.
Well, so I've got to be very careful of what words I say so the video doesn't get taken down. So I'll be a little cryptic. So what I'm going to talk about is it true? Whatever it is that you want to know about or what you currently believe. And if you were to believe something that wasn't true, if you currently had a false belief, would you want somebody to let you know about that? Therein lies.
Gary's like you. Gary goes around telling everybody, don't you, Gary?
Well, I do it all the time, Robert. At the end of the day, I'll say if they say it's a theory of something, I'll say, well, it's got to be demonstrable, repeatable, and measurable. And if it can't be them three things, then it's probably just a theory, and that's it.
Yeah, and that happens a lot. We're being presented false information as undisputed fact, and in reality, much of what we're being told is not only wrong, it's intentionally not true to deceive humanity. So that's the way I found it. It's pretty messed up. And so what we can do is let other people know. And what I'll do out here, like I'm gonna flip this around. Okay, so I'm at the Cherry Grove Fishing Pier area, and this is the Prince Resort. And I've got the surfboard with truth on it and my name. All of these are tools to overcome the digital quarantine that the system would like to keep humanity in. Where in the world could a wind chime hang upside down in relationship to other wind chimes? It's not even possible.
Yeah, because you know what? Because we're supposed to be a ball, then yours would be on a slant.
Yeah.
For me, yours would be on a slant, but it's not.
So none of that supposed movement can be felt or found, and it's Photoshop because it has to be. I sent a shirt like this to Elon Musk. I thought he would find it humorous. I ordered the Tesla Cybertruck. I think it would be one badass truthmobile, huh? That'd be nice, especially since I'm exposing the space fantasy. Yeah. I don't mind.
You look good in one of those cars, but do you think it's a real car, that one?
Well, I've ordered it. It was $100 for me to put in the pre-order. I ordered the tri-motor and the autonomous driving package on it. That's already gone up. It was $7,000 when I ordered it. Now it's apparently like $10,000. So supposedly on the Robotaxi network, that vehicle.
So what are you getting for your money then?
Well, a vehicle that can apparently drive people around and pay for itself.
You've actually ordered one of the cars, Robert.
What's that?
You've actually ordered one of the cars.
I did, the Cybertruck. Yeah, let me show you again which one it is.
Oh wow, he bought one of Tesla's cars.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so that's the Tesla Cybertruck. If you were to hashtag Tesla Racing, you would probably find me. I'm pretty impressed with the vehicles. This is right here the quickest production car ever built, 0 to 60 in 1.9 seconds. That's
So
pretty
not that
quick.
expensive then, Robert.
Well, so the Cybertruck that I ordered is $69,000, and apparently
What you've ordered one of them.
yeah, it cost me $100 to pre-order it. I believe around 1 million people already have. So 1 million people spent $100 to pre-order. That's $100 million, right? That's pretty good. Apparently, Elon, in the pandemic, as many of us refer to it, in the last year, he picked up $100 billion of net worth. Not bad. He also he and Jeff Bezos, for their respective corporations, Amazon and Tesla and SpaceX, were getting government assistance. We're all somewhat getting government assistance, whether it's directly or indirectly. We're in an economic reset right now. And they're going to reduce a lot of the carbon footprint by reducing a lot of carbon, apparently, as in carbon-based life forms, as in people. The Georgia Guidestones talk about a population reduction and maintaining the population in a harmonious level at around 500 million. That means that about 7.5 billion people need to go bye-bye. And the Bible talks about in the last days that there would be wars, rumors of wars, pestilence, the famine, and then death that's going to be occurring from all of that. So I'm one of the people that wants to help you make an informed choice on your eternity. I'm gonna mute my wind chime a little bit. I just slide it down the beam there a little. And I've got a setup here where I've got a sunny side and a shady side. I need to get a little bit of shade from time to time, but it's beautiful here. The year before we had well,
yeah, Robert, we don't want you overheating, do we?
Right. So in 2018, we had about 20 million guests visit the Grand Strand. That is 60 miles of ocean front in South Carolina. I'm about 4 miles inland from here. Now, is my microphone getting blown out very much, or is it okay?
No, we've got a nice watch.
It's fine.
No, it's fine. We've got a nice wind chime going. It's fine.
Good. Glad to hear it. So in the search for information, I believe truth is the #1 destination we should be striving to find. The truth about whatever it is that you want to know about. I happened to meet Gail today. Gail Force, I believe, is her name on TikTok, and she's got almost 20,000 followers there, and she's a truth teller, and met her on the beach today. She's going to be hanging out here today. She is well aware of a lot of what's going on here. And we had the pleasure of having coffee on the beach today, some of my organic coconut infused coffee. So I'm
Sounds very nice indeed.
yeah, so part of what happens is that especially people that are aware that we're being lied to on epic proportions are curious about what I believe the truth is. And many of them are aware that the truth, that what we're told as the truth by the official authority is largely deceptive.
Well, what I always say, Robert, I say it's a lie until it can be proved to be a truth now to people. Otherwise, because as far as I'm concerned, it's all lies until it can be proved to be a truth, and that's the way I look at people.
Exactly. So that's where in this world of conspiracy theories, and I'm gonna say right now what's going on is that there's a veritable kaleidoscope of conspiracy theories to hide the true conspirators in what they're actually doing in this world. So they create the terminology conspiracy theorists to make it sound crazy. They'll even create a movie like Mel Gibson in I believe that one might have been Enemy of the State with Gene Hackman. There's a couple of movies like that. So I'm not sure if I've got them cross-pollinated with one another. There's different movies that have created the persona of truth tellers as crazy people. So there's like a intellectual parasite. Actually, it's like a virus
I
that
saw a
causes
really good
people.
meme the other day, Robert, when everybody turned it around and said, "Well, everything you're talking about is a conspiracy."
Yeah.
They
So
turned everything around.
yeah, it causes people to believe the lie and reject the truth, and to reject the truth tellers. So what they do is they isolate themselves from the truth and those telling it. It's pretty difficult. So one of the ways that we can overcome that is like what I'm doing is having a public persona. Me walking around with the truth logo on, the truth shirt, and my phone number. That's something that's unusual. It isn't. I didn't pattern it after anybody else. And if a lot of other people wanted to have a channel called Truth, that would be fine. I don't mind. I have no copyright on the truth. That there's the truth and a whole bunch of everything else. That's the way it works out. So I'll go out here in public, and there will be people all over the place. Let me flip this around. I think I can give you a better.
Yeah, your beach is looking a bit busy today with people.
Well, this is pretty calm right now. A few days ago, like in the last week, I've interacted with hundreds of people, many of them college and high school students, because what we've got is spring break happening. Some of that is tapered off a bit. And so when that happens, then there will be more families that come on out here, like with the little kiddos there, you can see in the reflection. Notice the reflections of the people? It's just the way it works. Reflections are one of the big clues on what's going on in this world.
You know what's always got me though, Robert? Robert, what gets me is that when you're standing there on the beach and you've got the camera going out and the sun could be 5-10 miles away, it's always reflecting in the puddle right next to you.
Yeah, that's the way it works. That's just how it is, and it's beautiful. Let me make sure I've got a nice clean lens for you.
Thanks, Robert, for that.
Oh, you're welcome. So we've had the ring around the sun too. It looks like a rainbow that occurs
I've seen that quite a few
sometimes.
times on the moon. Yeah.
Can I ask you a question?
Absolutely.
Out in Spain now, to go on the beach, I used to live in Spain. Out in Spain, to go on the beach, you've got to wear a mask unless you're going in the sea. I see there, you don't have to wear a mask on the beach.
That's right. I wonder if it has anything to do with the truth guy telling the truth for years out here. I've made my playlist available so a lot of people realize that we're being manipulated. I do believe I have an effect, a big effect, and we all have varying levels of effect. But like when I interact with people, it's not just the beachgoers, it's the city manager, it's the mayor of this area, it's the law enforcement, public safety, and lifeguards. And a lot of them are awake and aware of what's going on to one degree or another. I'm not saying they know it all. None of us really know it all. God knows it all. He knows the end from the beginning. There's, I've talked about this before. We have biometric identifiers. Fingerprints are one of them, and this is my fingerprint to the New World Order.
Yes.
It's actually my biometric identifier for my MacBook Pro, and it's what I want to do is to basically say, not on my watch. I'm going to tell on you. It's show and tell for adults. I want people to make an informed choice on their forever. Where will you spend forever and why? So it is really interesting how the like the college students would be walking by. I may be blowing bubbles out here. They hear the wind chime, or they just see me up here, and they'll come on over, and they want to know what I'm doing here. And many of them have brought additional friends, and quite a few of them are questioning their reality. Like, is the actual education they're getting more of an indoctrination? And I would say absolutely, because
100%.
we've had that conversation. It shows whether or not they have a level of compliance with the system. That's what it does. That's when I was in grade school, and then, well, it started in grade school. What I wanted to know is what I was being told didn't seem to make sense. It didn't seem relevant. Why do I need to know the dates of wars and the people involved in them and all that? What I found out is there was a lot of false pretense for the wars that we've engaged in. And some of the activities, some of the wars were not what we were told. Why were we there?
I think in the 1800s, this great big swathe when they're going across America to conquer it, they changed all the names of all the towns that were already here. So that's what they did in the in the independence bit that they're saying. They were changing all the names to everything.
Yeah, and on my playlist, John Levi does a great job of showing, like, the wood builders, carriage drivers with horse-drawn carriages. How did they build skyscrapers out of concrete in the 1800s? We're told that there's a mystery with the pyramids. It's way more than that. So, like Tartaria, what is it? Who were those people? Were there giants in our land? Yeah, apparently. A lot of big stuff, big doorways, big doors, big buildings, big books. Right now, apparently, Google can't get their transfer of data correct. A lot of their metadata and the downloading of information is not accurate. So they're not, what's even worse than a digital book burning is a reinvention of those books and the narrative that is in them. So they've been rewriting history. So there you go. What are we going to do about it? Well, we can, we could just say, well, you need to research it. What happens when the data that we've found has been scrubbed from the record? And that is currently happening right now.
Robert, 1 second. Go on, Gary.
Well, I'll tell you something, Robert. I've been in the quarry industry for 35 years plus. And I've spoke to many lorry drivers, and I've showed them, like, Asian architecture, like Tartaria and stuff, buildings in Iraq, in Iran, and all around the Middle East. And I said, how was this building made, and how was it transported? They all turn around and say, by lorry, because these are lorry drivers. And I say, no, we've been told they've been taken there by a horse-drawn blinking carriage. And they look at me like I'm mad. They say, no, my friend, Polish drivers, Russian drivers. They say, no, obviously it's been taken there by, because, there's loads of Polish over here now, drivers and Russians and whatever. And they say, no, it's impossible to carry this. And then not only that, what about the machinery that built these They built these amazing, like, these architectures. Where was that? We were told there was hammer and chisel in those days. You know,
That's
it's
right.
such a simple thing. Even people that are not awake on other things like flat, the shape of the earth and, you know, the fake moon lands or whatever, that alone, you just say to them, everyone's going to turn around and say, there's no way this was taken there by a horse-drawn carriage. Okay?
That's right. And see, even if you could take the pieces of it over there, how do you get a 50,000 pound Benjamin or William Penn on top of the building in Pennsylvania?
Exactly.
So that there have been mysteries in our history for a long time. And so one of the dynamics that it may feel a bit overwhelming, like, what can we do? Well, I'll tell you what happened to me is I was born of God's Spirit, and He lives in and through me. I've been talking about this the whole time I was born again, about 6.5 years ago. And so God, the true creator, many know him as Yeshua, Yahweh, the living word, the living water, the great I am, knowing the end from the beginning, Jesus Christ. That's who I'm talking about. And I know that in the truth movement, as in the rest of the world's population, there is a spiritual smorgasbord that people are dining on. Even atheism is a godless religion. So we're made to worship. A lot of people worship the image in the mirror themselves and wanting to do what they want to do. Ironically enough, God will allow people and cause people to believe the lie they apparently want to believe. As in 2 Thessalonians chapter 2, in the New Testament, God's word says they refuse to love the truth and so be saved. For this reason, God sends them a powerful delusion. So they're going to believe the lie they want to believe. This is beyond anything that even resembles salesmanship. However, making information available that people can look at, I believe, is helpful. So typically, when I'm out here, people will come up to me. I've had it happen within the last week where I was told by some of these individuals, I've been watching you for years, and I just wanted to come up and find out more of what you've got going on. Some will say, I tried to find your channel and I couldn't. It's the name of it is Truth. Just
if you
to show
put Robert Foertsch, the truth, you find it.
Oh yeah, absolutely. That's why I've put it on my stickers. I just ordered some more stickers, business cards, and shirts so that I can keep on doing that. Even if any of my social media presence is taken down, I'll still have the name Robert Foertsch, and it's the #1 search result in the world if you put the hashtag in front of it. Now that
Well
system
done, Robert. Well done.
Thank you. So even if so what I wanted to say with that, sometimes there's approaching 7,000 results, occurrences of my name, and sometimes there's only a few hundred. There could be none. It could, the system, if God allows it, could totally wipe it out, clear it completely. I don't believe he's going to allow that, so I'll keep doing what I do, and then people can do what they do. Largely believe what they want to believe. That's the way I found it. It's pretty disappointing because there are people that are very important to me. We've got a lot of shared memories together and significant lifetime memories. And it's unfortunate that they don't embrace the truth the way I do. Now, they could be late bloomers. It could be that they find out later, maybe perhaps even after I transition. We're all
One
eternal
thing that
beings.
happens, Robert, is that sometimes we have to let certain people go, don't we?
Absolutely.
Do
So
you think?
Go ahead.
Sorry, Robert. Do you think we're getting to the point where we're reaching pretty much saturation point with regards to waking people up, or do you think there's always going to be an avenue to get more on board? Because I find when I used to go down Speaker's Corner and speak about flat Earth and, you know, the fake moon landing and everything else, and it seemed like we got to the point where we got a lot of people on board, but then we reached saturation point.
Well, I don't believe we're at a saturation point for this reason. There will be cataclysmic events occurring in this world where people will question their eternity, their reality. For example, when there's volcanoes erupting and people are dying, or we have flooding, or wildfires, they may only have a few more minutes left of their life, and they may want to know for sure what's going on here. So, for example, we're all eternal beings having a temporary human experience. Now, worldwide, there's about 250,000 people that die every day, approximately. The death count in the last year has been similar to the year before. At this time in the population of the world, it's about 250,000 people die every day. About half of those are abortion. Yes, those are real people that are being aborted. And unfortunately, because of the system that we live in, some of them are being assimilated in cosmetics, food products, and personal hygiene products, and more. They're being put into injectable, how would I say, they're injecting them into people with the jab, so to speak. Yes. So they're there also.
I mean, they're going at it like every which way, aren't they? They're using all what you said and more. One of my friends that lives in Portugal, she texted me a couple of days ago, and she said she went down to the beach and there was a tsunami. Well, she can't speak Portuguese, but her husband can, even though he's English. And it said, I can't believe it. They put up, there's going to be a tsunami. There's a tsunami warning on the beach, and I'm thinking to myself, how the hell did they know that so much in advance? And she said to me, do you think I should go to high ground? And I said, it might be an idea because, you know, she doesn't live that far from the mountains. I said, but, you know, do they sort of like make a tsunami? Do they put like some kind of bomb under the ocean or something?
Well, there's now, are you seeing the picture of my profile now?
Yeah, yes.
Okay. I'm just going to leave that for a while.
Yeah.
What they do have is what's termed a blast wave accelerator. That's one of the terminology. And I believe when we're looking at what happened in Fukushima, there were financial negotiations going on with Japan, and they were not cooperating apparently with the world banking system, and they had a visit from a large wave that took out a lot of Japan in Fukushima.
Do you think that would be some kind of incendiary device under the ocean, Robert, or what?
Well, some kind of a device that created a wall of water to come in. So it could have been incendiary. It could have. I don't know exactly the dynamics of what it may have been. There's a video that shows how that's towards the top of my list. It's showing how reactive potassium is, and the result of that potassium, a little size of a marble that put into a bucket of water caused it to explode. Well, imagine if you had a hunk of potassium the size of a cyber truck dropped into the ocean, or exposed while it's under the ocean, like in apparently there's hypersonic torpedoes that can release a detonation that can cause a tsunami.
What about the Asian tsunami back in 2004, whenever it was? Do you think that was on a similar lines, or?
Not sure. I don't know. And by irony and paradox, we don't know what we don't know. It's just that the system of control has a proclivity for creating tragedy, and then to further their agenda, that's why their tragedy was created. And then they present a solution or a couple of solutions, either of which they're fine with deploying. So it's part of the system of control.
Yeah, well,
It's
they cause the chaos, like, and they come up with the answers.
Yeah, so the Hegelian dialectic, as it's referred to by many, is the problem, reaction, solution.
Solution.
Yeah, and it creates a dynamic of control, and that's how that works out. It's for our enslavement.
That's right, Robert. For our enslavement.
Oh yeah, that's what they're doing.
Don't like free spirits, do they?
No, they don't.
I mean, and it's the same, most people go through their life without knowing any of this at all. You know, I see them all the time, you know, and I think these poor people, they just think that's how it's meant to be because they don't know any different.
Uh-huh. Oh yeah. Oh, I'm sorry, Gary. Would you say that again, please?
I said it's so terrible, Robert, that I see people, you know, people that are close to me, and friends and family and other people I just know walking down the street. They're never going to know any of the truth because they just go along with the agenda. They don't know that it's not meant to be that way.
Well, you know, it can be a bit disconcerting and also, I would say, disappointing. However, here's the real comforting fact about all this is that the true creator is large and in charge. He's in control of everything. So there's nothing in this world that's going to happen that he either doesn't cause or allow. So all the people that are going to wake up are going to wake up. In fact, one of the reasons why I'm so diligent about what I do is I believe it's what God created me to do. So that's the reason for this. Otherwise, it would be pointless.
Now, Robert, we're the persecuted now.
I'm sorry, I didn't. I'm sorry, Karen. I didn't hear what you said exactly.
I said we're the persecuted now.
Yeah. Well, you know, God will help people to understand what's going on, so that even though there's it can seem overwhelming, He's also working in the lives of people around, like different people that show up on the beach here that I interact with, for example, have mentioned they believe it was a divine appointment that God choreographed our meeting together. And I agree. I believe that. So that's why I do what I do. He makes me very satisfied for doing this. And I'll keep on doing it. Because that's what he wants me to do.
We feel the same, Robert. We feel like me and Karen and I and all of our friends, like, we feel like it's a lifetime journey now. You know, we're never going to give up. We're going to carry on forever, aren't we? Speaking the truth to people. You know, the ones that want to listen, and the rest of them don't. But you know, I'm not going to give up just because sort of like people don't want to. A lot of people don't want to hear what I've got to say. I'm still going to carry on saying it.
Right. And that is part of the dynamic that when we're walking in truth, when I'm doing what I believe I'm created to do, there's satisfaction for that was previously unavailable to me. So now that I'm actually born again, I have a passion, purpose, eternal perspective, and the power to do what I previously could not do, and the pleasure to enjoy it all, even though it's very unpopular. And the truth isn't based on popular opinion. It's not popular and it's not an opinion. It's simply the reality of the situation. Any situation you want to know about, consider what you're finding out about it. Is it actually the truth or a part of a clever deception? So that's some of the the linguistic sound bites that I put together and use, I believe them to be true. That's why I'll continually say them. I don't need to reinvent the truth. It just simply is. What I found out is that much of what I was believing earlier was not true. And what I can know for sure has exposed much of that deception. What I know for a fact has proven that much of what I had previously believed was not true. So that's the intellectual high ground in a search, should be the truth. What is it really? And do we actually believe it? Or are we believing what we were told is true by the deceivers? So there you go. And that's a heavy intellectual reality to consider.
Robert.
What's that?
We seem to be on a different frequency, because I just think to myself, some people, they're living in a different reality, Robert, and they cannot see the things we see. Because I have people and I speak to them, and they just can't, they cannot comprehend it, because it's not part of their reality.
Well, and it could be, let me see, it could be that they've got a veil over their eyes. They can't see it. And that's where from the biblical perspective that I draw from, is that unless God removes... I think
when you wake up, because maybe 20 years ago, if I met you, Robert, and you were telling me stuff, I'd probably go, oh, that man, we're on a globe, you know, like something hits you, and then you know, and a lot of us woke up at the same time.
It seems to be a mass awakening, generally speaking, Robert, I think, about, you know, I knew the moon landings were fake in 1969 when I was a 9-year-old boy, but I think in about the last 6 or 7 years, it seems to have been a real big mass awakening, doesn't it?
Absolutely. Now, here is where it gets very interesting, and the system of control, especially of the control of information. I'm gonna say a little soundbite here that I believe carries a lot of weight, and that is artificial intelligence, machine learning, computer systems currently have full, complete administrative level access of the entire internet, including the creation and distribution of electricity, public opinion, purchasing power, and also the recommendations of the information. And now, apparently, with some of the lockdowns that are going on with quarantining and travel passports, or not having a travel passport, people are going to be in more of a prison, not just for their mind, for their body as well. They're not going to be able to travel the way we've freely been able to if you had the financial resources to move about. Some people are largely limited by that, but it's going to be even more than that. So that system of control also affects and controls the weather along with that, and the level of toxification of our environment, the food, water, air, frequencies. We touched on frequencies, and that is correct. There is digital transmission of information that
Robert,
is also affecting...
modified our weather so it was like yours.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah. So the cellular towers and the small mini towers, like the new generation of technology for internet and so forth, from the Starlink technology, apparently that's, I believe, beaming technology off of the firmament, off of the dome. That's cell towers are part of what are referred to as satellite in the terminology of the people that work with it. That's part of how that works. The other thing is that the ground-based systems that are shooting up onto the sky are shooting up onto the structure that covers the stationary level Earth, the firmament. You can look it up in the book of Genesis. So in the saturation level of people considering saturation level, there will be a lot of people waking up when they potentially when they're really want to know the truth. When their body stops working, where are they going to be? Are they going to be in a good place or a bad place? Are they going to be in heaven or hell? So there you go. I think what I'd like.
You know, that's one of the things waking up does. Nothing's perfect, but what it does, I mean, you know, in the globe world, but what it does is it gives you an inner peace.
Definitely. I feel a lot better person, Robert. I haven't got a lot of money anymore, you know, but I had all that back in the early 80s. I had loads of money and one another. I thought that's what it's all about, having material possessions, having this, having that, having flats you let out. But now I haven't really got anything, and I'm happier now. I'm more at inner peace now than what I ever was.
Oh yeah, I have this friend of mine died a few years ago. He was worth almost $100 million. His name is Ralph Storm. He was in Corpus Christi, Texas, and he was telling me, you know, the advantage that wealthy people have over poor people is they found out that money doesn't buy happiness. However, it can sure provide some options. And those options can be a different form of intellectual enslavement. The people that are worth millions and billions and trillions of dollars a lot of times are not going to have an eternity that I would want to trade with. So what I've been heard saying, and I'll keep on saying it, I wouldn't trade what I have for all the money in the world. Because
no, I agree with you.
Yeah, I'm actually I'm actually born of the Spirit, and I get to spend an eternity in heaven, and I get to be a representative for God in a world that needs a message that only He can provide the hope and freedom for. So, you know, that's the way I found it. I love it. It's hard to watch other people struggling through all this because they don't. It seems that a lot of humanity wants to look at everywhere but to God for the answer, and that's unfortunate. However, some people will seek the truth with all their heart, and I believe that it's going to require even more than that. It's actually going to require divine intervention, that God is going to have to cause them to not only want to know the truth, but to actually find it and to find Him, the author and finisher of my faith and the faith of all of my brothers and sisters in Christ. I don't know who they all are. I have no way of knowing. They don't even know yet. Some of those people that are going to be born again have not even been born the first time yet, let alone the second time.
But
so that's
sorry, Robert. Do you think, like, when you found God, like we have, it's like you realise that everything that you give importance to before isn't important, but you seem to get by, and you sort of like get by whatever God gives you.
That's exactly right. I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me. He gives me what I need. He gives me sometimes even, actually, He gives me a lot of what I want because He puts the want there first. It's a perfect fit. So that's why it works so well. It's not just that he gives me satisfaction for the life that He's given me. He's created the desire to enjoy what He's provided. So that's the beautiful thing about all that. I think what I'd like to do, Gary and Karen, is wrap this up. I've got some people that I wanted to talk to, but before I run, I wanted to ask you, is there anything else that you wanted us to consider or touch on today?
Just what I'd just like to say, Robert, you don't have to sort of like have a relationship with God, going to a church and whatever. You can have a direct relationship with Him, as opposed to going to sort of like any religious sort of like faculty. Like my relationship is with God directly. I'm sure yours is as well.
Absolutely. Right now, because of the nature of what I do, I wouldn't be welcome into many of the churches. They don't
but
even
it's another
want
control
to.
structure, Robert, isn't it? It's another control structure.
It is exactly, and that's why I recommend. So, like for example, rather than go to a gathering in a building, I'll go out here on the beach where there's no door to knock on for somebody to let me in, and I'll typically wait for them to come up to me. And this is a dynamic that I want you to consider, is that when people come up to me, the other people around are watching, and they're curious because I'm not chasing after them. They come up to me, then other people come up to me as well. Even it may take years. I have that privilege of doing it this way because we have so many people that come to this area. So I meet a wide variety of individuals, and it may appear to be random. However, there's guests that travel from all around the world to come here, and I'm so grateful for that. So thank you so much for having me on. Was there anything else you wanted to touch on?
Well, one more thing, Robert. I'd love to do the same thing as
Yes.
you, but the only trouble is, if I did it on Southend on Sea, I'd freeze me butt off. It'd be too cold. Unfortunately, we don't have the same weather here, but it's brilliant what you do there. But if I try to do the same thing at one of our seafronts, it wouldn't be quite the same.
Yeah, so we'll work with what we can, and so there's this area, and then there's all around the world wherever people are, and what we can do. What I want to mention too is the research library that I've created has been I've had a lot of help with that from talented producers from all around the world. Many of them have paid for the content that they've created with their lives. They got more than deplatformed. They got relocated to an eternal destination, wherever that will be. Some in heaven, some possibly in hell. Who knows? God knows for sure, and now they do as well. So I encourage everybody to seek the truth with all your heart because it matters for eternity. So this is Robert Foertsch with the YouTube channel Truth.
Love
and
you,
I'm gonna,
Robert.
Oh, love you too. Thank you so much for having me on.
Nice speaking to you,
truly
Robert.
been a pleasure.
Again sometime. Thank you.
Oh, you're welcome. Thank you so much. We'll chat later.
Thanks for spending the time talking to us. We'll catch up soon.
Sounds good. Thank you. Bye-bye now.
All right, my darling. That's it. Robert has gone. I'm left with Gary. Gary's popped in to see me for a few days, haven't you, Gary?
Oh yeah. I've come down to see Karen, bussing it all the way down. And she couldn't believe that I started bussing at 8 o'clock in the morning. And I got down here like at gone 2 o'clock in the afternoon. But I'm just used to it now, you know. So she's swallowed me rotten. I've got nuts, cups of tea, and everything. I've got the dog on my lap most of the time. She's not at the moment, but the weather looks reasonable.
We don't have weather like Robert, though, do we?
Unfortunately, we don't have weather like Robert. I mean, it's absolutely idyllic, and I was thinking of doing the same thing as Robert, rather than Speaker's Corner. But the trouble is, you go on Southend seafront, you'd literally sort of like be blown away. It's just too cold down there. But
that did look nice, didn't it?
It looked wonderful, and I've been looking at Robert's stuff now for quite a while, you know, with Karen, and he does speak perfect truth, and he's just great. And you know, it's the only thing I might disagree with him a little bit about is the fact that I'm wondering, like, if we've reached some kind of saturation point now. You know, I mean, we've got to just keep on plugging on, but I think maybe we've got to work with what we've got now. Really, you know, you're going to get the odd one or two, but I think generally speaking, on a mass level, the people who are going to be awake are pretty much awake now, you know, not necessarily maybe to Karen and mine's level, but the ones that can see the fallacies in what's going on in the world should have cottoned on by now, especially with this new thing, which I'm not going to mention, but you know, that was the real one that should have got. Some people have, I must admit, some people I know it has, but a lot of people no, it still hasn't. You know, they're just going along with with the whole genre of it. But you know, that was the real one that should have said, hang on a minute, things are not right. You know? Bingo. Yeah, it should have.
Anyway, while you're here, we're gonna do a few hangouts.
Yeah, we're gonna do a few hangouts. You know, maybe sort of like general subjects. Got a little bit more on time slips and Mandela effects, and you know, a new few. I don't like using that word theories, but new ideas I got of the realm we live in, because none of us really know. We know where we don't live. We don't know where we do live. But things are starting to come together a little bit more now. Where, you know, with me, I'm side at the walls, like you know, some kind of. It's not a bricks and mortar reality we've got because of the Mandela effect, and you know, some of the truthers,
they're really doing that with history right now.
So, yeah, some truthers think the Mandela effect is complete rubbish. But the thing is with me, it's funny. I was on the bus on the way down here to where Karen lives, and I see another sign for cemetery, and for me, I always remembered cemetery with an A on the end, not all E's. I mean, I can remember when I was a kid, I remember cemetery with the E at the front, the E in the middle, but at the end, the ARY was an A, you know, and it don't look right. It still don't look right to this day, and that's right, because you know, we went past Foertsch on the bus, and I noticed it again, and I'm looking around me all the time to take in things, and when I see it, it still doesn't look right to me.
Do you think a crematorium is different? We'll end this hangout in a second, because obviously Gary and I are going to be back doing a few.
Yeah, we're doing a few more, because I'm here till Friday.
Do you think a crematorium is different to a cemetery?
It's just.
I know it's still got a cemetery. Well, you know,
it's just the way it's spelt, though. I mean, the spelling for me has been Mandela affected. I remember it spelt completely different. It doesn't look right.
Why not just tell us? I mean, they changed a Mars bar, no, a marathon to a Snicker. So why not just tell us?
Yeah, but the thing is, they're not going to go around sort of like thousands of cemeteries and change.
Are we changing?
Maybe we're changing reality.
When we're waking up.
Yeah, we're all waking up. We're changing. We're doing it. Our cosmic sort of like consciousness is is having an effect, because you know, you're not going to get some little guy go around, some little Mr. Magoo go around every cemetery in the UK and change the A to an E. You know, it's not going to happen. Are we got realities
emerging? Do you know what
emerging?
cemetery's got? It's cement. It's got mint in it, hasn't
it? Mind again.
They've got your mind.
They got your mind wherever you look.
Gary, shall we come back and do our other hangouts?
Yes.
Thank you for being on that hangout with Robert. Fantastic. Did you like
fantastic with Robert. Really enjoyed it, and hopefully we can do another one. And like I said, I agree with everything he says. He's a great sort of like person to have in our community, and just keep up the good work, Robert.
Here to Robert.
Yeah.
Thank you, Gary.
Thank you very much, Karen.